Whether you're watching live or on replay, welcome to Thought of the Day. My name is Andrea Sampson, and I'm the CEO and founder of Talk Boutique and the Thought Leader Academy. And today's thought is choosing to change. Now, there's a saying that the only constant in life is change, and this has never been truer than in the past 5 years. So many of us have experienced change in all areas of our lives, and so much of it is unexpected. But the reality is, we all have the power to choose change, to make it work for us, rather than to be at the effect of the changes around us. I had coffee with a friend and a colleague, Jennifer Hargreaves, who shared a framework she uses when faced with change. And in hearing it, I knew it was something I wanted to share with my community, and she agreed. So, when faced with a choice of staying in the same place or creating change, use this approach to help you step into what and who you are creating through change. And it's really just 4 steps. So, the first one, it starts with articulating a goal. What is it that you want to create? So, think about your life. What is it that you're creating that you really want to create with your life? What is the big thing that you're aiming at? Who do you want to be? Maybe it's looking at your career or your family and combining these things into something bigger than yourself. I know for me, I've always wanted to create impact in the world. I've always wanted to make it be a little bit better than I found it. So what's your goal? We call this a BHAG. This was something from my agency days. And I remember the first time I heard it, it was kind of a funny word. And what it stands for is big, hairy assed goal. Or something that is really big. So your BHAG is something that you want more than anything, perhaps something you don't even yet believe is possible. But it's important to identify it with as much clarity as possible. You see, the thing that you want is the direction that you point your actions towards. So for me, I've always talked about creating a more inclusive and sustainable future that creates that's reflective of all of us who are living within it. Now that's a direction. You can see that that's a big goal, and it's one I probably won't achieve on my own, but it drives everything I do. So that would be my BHAG. What's yours? The second step is now identifying the beliefs that are in the way of achieving this goal. What do you believe about yourself, your situation, the environment around you, other people, or anything else that's negatively affecting your ability to achieve this goal? These are your limiting beliefs. By identifying them, what you're doing is you're surfacing what's holding you back, the places that you have work to do. And by identifying them, you're beginning that inner work. And it's important that you focus on this before you start working on your goal. Now, limiting beliefs are a bit sneaky because even though we surface some, there are more lurking below. So start with finding the limiting beliefs that are holding you back from getting started and make sure you address those. But don't stay in this work forever because you're doing some of the inner work first to change those limiting beliefs that are holding you back from getting started. And then you start working on achieving your goal. Throughout that process, more limiting beliefs are going to arise, and you'll need to go back to do that inner work. But keep moving forward. So let's review. You're going to start off with identifying what your goal is. What's your BHAG? Second, you're going to identify the limiting beliefs that are holding you back from getting started. Now, don't skip that step. It's integral. Now you're really on your way. Step 3. Now you have to ask yourself, who is it that I need to be in order to achieve this goal? This is your future self. I want you to look at that person. Who are they? What do they look like? How do they act? What friends do they have? Where do they hang out? What do they do on a weekly, daily, even monthly basis, yearly basis? How do they show up in stressful situations or in joyful situations? Where do they live? How do they dress? Define this future you with lots and lots and lots of detail. Really get to know them. And here's an important thing: make sure you like this person, because this is the beginning of your personal brand. It's who you will become on the road to developing and achieving your BHAG. Finally, okay, so now we've got 3 steps. Now, the final step is to take some inspired action. What is it that you can do today that will get you just one step closer to starting that change? What can you do from where you are that will get you started towards that BHAG? And maybe you don't even have the BHAG yet. And maybe that's the first step, is just beginning to write down all the things that would get you to that place of being able to identify that BHAG. Maybe it's just creating a list. It doesn't matter what it is. What does matter is that it's a starting point and that it's easy for you to do. You want something that you want to do that's easy, that just gets you started in the general direction of your goal. It doesn't even have to be specific, because once you get started, you're in motion. And once you're in motion, you're able to gain some momentum. So that's a little 4-step framework. Identify your BHAG, surface your limiting beliefs, identify the future you who's going to achieve that BHAG, and take intentional action forward. And by doing that, you are now creating change instead of being at the effect of change. And these are the steps that, when creating intentional change, that so many aspiring experts start to take. And if you identify as an aspiring expert who really wants to be an acclaimed thought leader, then let's keep in touch. We designed the Thought Leader Academy for this very reason. And it's really to help those who are ready to take their first step towards their BHAG. And we're going to be opening our doors again really soon. So make sure that you're signed up for our bi-weekly newsletter, so you find out when our next Thought Leader Academy intake is happening. And also, so you get notices and updates on TEDx speaking events, as well as tools to support you in transforming from an aspiring expert to an acclaimed thought leader. And if you're in the Toronto area, join us at our upcoming Talk Boutique Salon. Our next event is on June 13th, and I'll be taking the stage, sharing my message. And I'd love to meet you. And I'd love to hear some feedback from you on how this little framework maybe helped you. Check out the links to find out more. And don't forget to follow me on LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube, so you don't miss any of my thoughts of the day. Have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll meet you right back here tomorrow for another thought of the day.